Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just cool. All right. Well, here we go. Number 3 of the Bad Lines Good Times podcast, brought to you live from Cal City, California, over our Thanksgiving trip. So we're currently in our bro Tato Scott DeCurtis's trailer here, all
Making
the way.
the space, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make two studio.
So for everyone that doesn't know, we are essentially the DMC. I mean, there's others, but we're part of the core group.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what the DMC is, it doesn't really matter because it's just who we are.
I like that.
We're not anybody. We're just us. Right?
But yeah, and so just a little, obviously got Wally next to me. I'm Elliot. Hi. Mikey Lycos, the Fab Lab. Dude's got an epic Bronco. Likes to melt metal together. And all the way down at the end, we got Scott DeCurtis. He's got the rad red 4Runner that we post up all the time. So that's these dudes.
Wow.
And tonight we're talking about nothing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been hanging out for how many years now, guys?
15 years?
God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have been longer. You and Elliot are, Mikey and Elliot are quite a bit.
We
Well,
did the first annual cleanup together, I think, right?
Yeah,
Or was it
but
the second one.
But no, I think it was the first. But I think at that point you knew Scott.
No,
No.
Not
I
yet?
think I came in a few years later.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't say years. I would say maybe months.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think I met you and Max
Mhm.
that on the internet on
Mhm.
Desert Rangers.
Yeah.
And then we basically met up at the John's, which is now an Aldi in town. It's a little local supermarket, or was a local
Yeah,
supermarket.
yeah, and see me, right?
And I never met you before at all. We all caravanned out.
Sure.
And
Oh
went
no,
to
no,
the
no!
cleanup.
And I remember you had rear-ended Johnny B on the way out to the cleanup. Like
Absolutely.
somebody slammed on the brakes, and you were in the Gold Ranger.
No, that wouldn't have.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was
Yeah.
gonna say that was a
Dude,
different trip, but it could.
I'm like Rain Man, bro. You want to mess around? Find out.
Wait, so you guys did the Clean Desert actually bring you guys all together?
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
way.
100%.
Kind of, sort of.
Funny.
Well,
I did not know
that
that.
and Desert Rangers.
And racing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I kind of felt like you guys were relatively local and had like a local friend group, and that's how you guys met. But it was all through.
dude, everything's through the internet, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's weird
And
as
we're
that
not
sounds.
trying to sell this. Like, again, this is an organic conversation. Just so everyone understands. Like, I don't know much about these guys' history because I just kind of show up and we're here right now.
yeah.
But it's pretty rad that this is exactly how I met them. And I didn't realize that's how you guys met each other as well.
Yeah. So I think it was like Mikey and I met yet again Desert Rangers, but it was like a barter for I think I did some fiberglass work, and then he did some fab work for
Yep.
me or something.
I-
when he
I needed
sounds
some
out of his
extra-
dad's garage or something like that. It
I
was
bought some
great. Yeah.
bedsides that were
Yeah.
like all molested, used,
Yeah.
and Scott's like, I fix boats all the time, and I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I help teach kids how to sail. I could fix fiberglass, and he did. He did a bang up job, super quick and easy, probably for him. That
On the
would've been
old Ranger front clip, yeah,
Yeah, it would've
the
been-
race truck,
yeah.
yeah.
It would have been a nightmare for me. So.
Yeah.
Have you figured out fiberglass yet?
No,
No, he sucks.
yeah. Last time I fixed my fender, it fell apart immediately.
You just use enough Bondo, though. You can.
I think
Right,
that's where I
yeah.
went wrong.
Just
I didn't use enough.
lay on
of the
a
glue.
few layers.
It doesn't matter what it looks like underneath, as long as it looks okay on the top.
I just
Right,
wanted it
right.
cold, and it did not.
But yeah, and then I was gonna say, I think that the first time I met you was when we did one of our first Mojave Road runs, and I think that was like, I want to say
Dude.
07 or maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say 08.
And I rode with him.
yeah.
Well, you had Fiona,
Yeah.
but it was like had
Fresh.
a chaos kit.
Yeah, it was like
and
a-
I think you had a. Did you have a wood bumper?
It was like a torsion bar chaos kit, still like ball joint kit,
Yeah.
like first gen.
Well, let's
right?
break that back down real quick. So Fiona is Scott's first pre-runner,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
And it was a Toyota
92 Toyota pickup.
extended.
It was an extended cab,
but it's
Toyota
not
pickup.
like the extended cab where there's extra seats.
It wasn't a crew
was
cab.
just-
It was just an extended cab.
Extended
Yeah,
cab.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay, and then so how did you acquire that truck?
It was my first truck I bought when I was, gosh, I don't know, like fresh out of college, like 21 maybe.
Okay.
And it was just like, we could get deep into it, but I've always been a desert guy and thought pre-runners were cool. And I was just like, the thing was basically the guy drove across country from New Hampshire The thing was a rust bucket like no other, and it was almost like
You bought
out
an
of,
East Coast truck in California?
Oh, well, I was 21. I have black wheels on it. I was like, this is so cool. I'm buying it.
To attest
right?
how bad it was, I remember when I was like putting the 62s on it originally, the leaf springs in the rear.
Yeah.
And I remember like I'm working on it or whatever, and there's a gigantic hole in the gas tank crossmember that goes like massive.
horrible.
I'm like, I don't know how this gas tank isn't already on the ground, but it's going to definitely fall
The
off
rust
the ground.
was holding it together.
So I think we like patched it up with some metal because, you know, what do? You know?
What I like about that is you put the leaf springs on my truck.
Yeah.
The same setup that's on the turbo truck right now is the leaf springs Mikey put on at Mike or Jesse's old house.
I'm the leaf spring guy for some reason.
Leaf spring guy. You set them up perfectly. I've never ever had them re-arched or anything.
Really?
From like 7-8 years. Like
That's just poor prep, bud.
Yeah, you're going to that's all.
No wonder.
they're fine.
Now that the truck's on jack stands, okay?
That's normal.
But
That's rad. And then so Mikey, what was your first desert truck? Desert
Well, okay, so I grew up going to the sand dunes, buggies, quads, stuff like that. My dad still has the Volkswagen buggy that I basically remember from when I was a little kid. He had another buggy before that, like a old Johnny Lightning chassis buggy, and then he went to this Prowler
I don't know
Sans
what
Right
Johnny
chassis.
Lightning is, but
Anyway, if anybody who knows anything about like old buggies, it's names. Anyway, so he bought this Prowler Sans Right buggy when I was probably 2 or 3, put a motor in it, painted it blue. It's this buggy we've had my whole life, and we went out and did all that. That was all great and fun, and I always loved it. And my dad knew Volkswagen stuff, so I was like, I'm gonna build a buggy, but it's gonna be like for dirt. And I tried to do that with like a frame that I got for free that was all twisted up and
of course.
messed up. And I was like, I got like a good ways into it, a couple months into it. I'm like, this thing's just too messed up to fix, and ended up scrapping it all. And then I bought my 93 Ranger single cab 4-liter, and I built it into a full-on race truck. It was the cherriest truck, 60,000 original miles. Had cool graphics.
it
on the
was,
side.
wasn't it the Splash?
It was Splash.
Yeah.
It was a sport, but yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. Turquoise and pink, like fuchsia pink,
Mhm.
decals on the side. I mean, this thing was, if I still had it today, dude, it'd be the coolest thing I own. But of course, I cut it up into nothing.
Yeah.
You know, just completely ruin it, basically. But raced on that thing for a little bit. But before I got a chance to do all that, because that took years, obviously, I had zero fabrication abilities at this point. And I met these two guys, and then they kind of took me to the desert with another truck that I just bought from some dude on, again, Desert Rangers, because I'm like, let's go play while I'm building a truck. Kind of like what Stevie Boy does, you know, about finishing a project. Let's go ahead and just jump to the next one. You know?
It's a long. I have a 10-year.
Just
plan.
buy more shit
It's a
boxes,
10
you know?
what's that? Big Daddy or whatever is like
Yeah.
a 10-year plan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Guy flipping burgers at Hooters. You know,
Yeah.
for sure.
We're like 20-year
I got
plan
it.
over here.
So real talk, is it possible to get into this sport, start with like a stock truck, and then just not completely fuck it up learning what you're doing?
No, I don't think that
And
it is.
and then
If you want to do it yourself.
because like
I think that's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
I think that's part of like getting
Totally.
into this whole
totally.
viewpoint of like off-roading, you know? I think that's part of the process, right?
Why is
Like-
it that most people in our friend group is like, I bought this truck, it was perfect,
Yeah.
and then
I chopped it
ruined
enough.
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much.
and now you're like, you know,
Well, looking back, I'm like, hey, idiot, I should have kept that truck because this is my
Yeah.
only means
Yeah.
of transportation.
Right.
I'm like Chevroleting it around at this point. You know,
Yeah.
walk in. I'm like, I had a girlfriend at the time. I'm like, hey, babe, can you drive me to Corona to go pick up like an off-road part? You know, it's just like the dumbest thing I could have did.
Totally.
Cut this truck completely out, you know. Looking back, I'm like, why didn't I just start with a cab and a frame? How
Sure.
Are you?
20?
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
Right.
you make poor life
Yeah,
choices. My
that's why.
dad was probably like, and he kind of, you know, like he let me do it in the backyard. He was just like, probably like, what is this guy doing? You
Yeah.
know, it's-
He's learning.
Yeah.
He's figuring it out,
Yeah,
right?
he just-
That's the whole process, right?
and that's totally it. It's like a total learning curve.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
I mean, you really get to know your truck. You get to know suspension. You get to know a lot of things just by trial and error.
Mhm.
You know, and that's
I forgot. I was talking to someone this weekend about that same thing. It's like it's better to have like gone through everything. Oh, is your father-in-law? on his RV. He's like, I couldn't replace this RV for what I have into it.
Oh yeah, no way.
But like, it's better to know that like you've replaced the water pump, you replaced this, you replaced, and you can see where everything's at. You know, this
100%.
has been done. It's like, yeah, you might throw $20,000 at it over a 10-year period, but
You've
know
touched
exactly
everything.
when it's
Yeah,
been done,
exactly.
how
and you
it's
know
been
where
done.
everything is,
Exactly.
and you know how it all works.
Especially with those like RVs, you buy, you know,
Oh, this is a
10-year-old
35-year-old motorhome at this point now.
But
I
a
mean,
10-year-old motorhome is worth 50, 60 grand still. And it's like you have no idea what has happened to it. Has it been sitting there rotting under the sun, or has it been, you know, well, it's almost better if they're used. If it's run and used regularly. Whoa. Almost rolled the mic.
Well, and that's the best part. He had it from his parents.
Yeah.
Could tell him everything that was happening.
Yeah,
It's not like he has like a blind start.
Totally.
All that stuff. So that's the same. Like my F-350. Like I obviously it broke down on me this weekend, which is annoying. But like I know the entire history of it,
Right.
which is rad. Like
Right.
it's like I can just
even
ask
if it's
Metro.
not the prime choice, it's the good choice because it's two owners before you.
Yeah, and I can ask Metro
A guy and a
exactly
guy's
what's that.
dad. Boom.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's no issue. And it's like, oh, you took this on Mojave Trail. Like that's not good, but you
Yeah,
owned it.
dude.
Yeah, we did.
Speaking of which, I have totally forgotten about that fact that he took that on Mojave
Oh,
Trail.
dude,
That
did
was
he
our
ever?
first trip, right?
Yeah.
That was the trip we were just talking about, right?
Yeah. I
He
think
took
so.
that on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got
And now my truck doesn't work this week.
10 years later,
And I'm
20 years
sleeping at
later.
10. Thank you, Brian Metro.
Yeah.
I'll never
right.
forget. So I had the white Rover at that point, the 92 Rover. And so we do whole Mojave Trail. We get like 3/4 of the way through and Metro's, of course, hubs won't engage. So he has no
Yeah.
4-wheel drive. I had to drag him out of
He
a
got
sand
stuck in
I
that
pulled your
wash or
truck
what?
out of a sand wash with the Rover
Okay. Oh, yeah.
because he had no 4-wheel drive. But
13 horsepower.
But I
did.
remember we're going on the 14 on the way home, and some chick in like a Honda Civic cuts him off, and he like throws on his off-road lights, and one's like pointed at the side of the hill because it's so fucking poorly aimed.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was next to it, I'm like, bro, what are you lighting up? It's like a cop spotlight.
But just the different times back then. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
To get back to Scott's Fiona, his first truck, it was like, I remember he had this cool like spare tire carrier thing on the back, and then you like go in and you like look at it, and it was made
Just
out.
cobbled together
It
like
was just like an
aluminum
adult
tubing.
erector
Yeah,
set out of
yeah.
like a piece of like the
Couldn't weld. Probably owned maybe one angle grinder at the time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Just
I
so
think
awesome.
what Mikey's trying to say is, what material did you use?
no, it was
half of it was made out of wood, like you had mentioned.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and-
sure I
and-
still had a
Did you make
wood
that
rear
wood?
bumper.
Did you make
Okay,
that?
so the truck.
Oh.
I wish we had a picture of it, honestly,
Oh.
because
We
it's
have
it's
gotta-
priceless.
oh,
It's
we're
priceless. But
it's got to come up.
literally, I
We
bought
can
the
just
truck.
put the green screen
Yeah.
just as the image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I bought the truck with a fully decked out, like custom teak wood made like camper shell.
Big wood guy.
And then the
Yeah.
rear bumper was literally like a solid piece of 6x6, redwood or something like that. And literally like carved
Yes.
bumper shape into this thing with trailer hitch. So he had it like bracket bolted to the trailer hitch, the actual metal trailer, but
Okay.
it was like he had it coming through the wood. Bumper. Oh, it was
Did you
just.
just light it on fire? What did you do?
Yeah,
I forget what I did.
firewood.
I mean,
Pretty sure it's. I'm
This
pretty
guy
sure it
spent
sat behind my
hundreds of
garage for like
hours
10
on this
years
thing.
or
No,
something. I don't
Okay,
know.
the knobs inside. Like
Oh,
some
yeah,
of
my
the
wood shift
were
knobs.
all wood.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think guy like had a lathe,
I
the wood
remember
lathe, he whittled them all. It was beautiful. It was cool.
Yeah, the
It's
guy was like a
really
good
cool. And
woodworker.
Scott bought
And he ruined it
similar
again.
one.
That's just what we do. You're
He
like,
bought-
this guy spent so much time on this awesome truck, and then Scott's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna jump it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
made out of wood.
yeah.
Oh,
Jumping
man.
a wooden truck.
Yeah. It's like an old
Things, the
ship.
things you buy when you're 2021. It's like,
Exactly.
hey,
See what
you know,
happens when you start hanging
go for
around
it.
us. You're just like,
Dude.
dude, let's cut
Jump
this
my
thing
wood.
out.
Well, let's
truck.
talk about Jesse and this trip. Jesse is he works with Mikey, and Jesse's like second trip out on the truck, right?
This will be trip number 3, second
Number 3.
desert trip.
And yeah, he went a little too hard in the paint.
Yeah, he's got. Long story short, what we think happened was the converter that's in the truck isn't right. The thing doesn't like slip at all, even at idle, like 800, 900 RPM. It doesn't want to slip the converter at all. So every shift on that thing is just kind of violent. And he went and downshifted from a second to first shift. And I think that was just it for the pinion. It just sheared that shaft in half and spit the drive shaft. And
It said nope.
But
Came over.
he listened to Mikey like, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this, and he did all the right things.
he did all the right things. And you know what? It's not his fault that converter is not right.
No, I'm not.
No,
saying
we
that.
told the shop what we needed, and it just wasn't right. And it was one of those things that was like, this isn't right. We'll fix it. The guy was cool. He's like, oh, we'll fix it for you. No problem. Just pull it back out. And you're like, oh, don't want to
Just
pull,
pull the
you know,
transmission out.
don't want to pull that all
What was
apart.
wrong before this trip?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This first trip out, I knew immediately. Yeah.
Okay.
We were like, oh, this isn't right. It's not stalling at all. You know, it's just, it wants to go. It
Mhm.
wants to go even in idle. And we're like, well, that's not right. You
Mhm.
know, so we'll fix it. We'll get to it. Well, the truck said, no, you're going to fix it now, you know.
Yeah.
Sooner than
So
later.
You gotta learn
it,
today.
it broke
But
itself.
yeah, so we got the pleasure of Scott and I. We were like scrambling. You know, we made it back to camp because we just ditched the group, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, everybody in the
Kind of,
way
sort of.
back
We
wasn't that bad.
basically
Oh, it was
did.
cool.
Did some
And so we get the call. My wife actually called and was like, "Hey, Jesse broke," and you know, then I got on the phone with you guys, and we ended up needing to rally a trailer. And this boy has a brand new to him, I'll say.
It's 14 years old, but it's
She's
brand new.
gorgeous.
The thing's pretty mint.
It was mint.
It's the
It was
nicest
mint before
thing
this.
that any of us own.
It
I
has
will say
it has pinstripes now.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I think that happened leaving camp. There's nothing we could do, dude. I'm really sorry about that. They will buff out, actually. Like they're not deep.
It looks like pinstripes because it's dusty on the side of the
They're
truck,
not
right?
like
It's
they're
a
not-
black truck.
They're not
There's
deep like
pinstripes.
our relationship here. They're just surface level.
Still pretty mint. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
it's
Yeah.
Still the nicest thing that any of us own. I think.
But so
It's you kind of need to get a good scratch on everyone.
yeah, it's fine. Well, we got that out of the way now, so you're good.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Just trying to make it mix into the rest of your
But so
vehicles, you know?
we got a trailer, and then we got Jesse's trailer, and then we got Steve's truck. We went out to the road, drove all the way down. Mikey sent me a pin drop, and of course, service is absolutely trash out here.
Stupid people out here.
If you're coming in, Cal City with a Verizon, just forget about
Yeah,
it. Like,
you're screwed.
because you might as well
Any
get
service.
Boost.
It's just there's too
Boost
many
Mobile
people
or
for how
something.
many
Yeah.
cell towers or whatever.
Maybe that's what it is. But yeah. So, anyways, we found them. That place you guys were at was pretty cool. It was like a
Dude,
pink
There was a
shipping
track.
container with
There
a
was
track.
there. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's where he broke it. We were running the track. It was so much fun.
He's like, he went around it twice, and then Derek was like, that looks like so much fun, and Jesse was like, I'll give you a ride. And you know how it is. He's not the new guy. He's been doing this a while, but he's the new guy to us, and he's probably was like, oh, I'm gonna give Derek a good ride.
hmm
You know,
Well,
probably
it's a
giving
new
giving her
truck,
the onion.
though, like, so
well, he's
you-
giving. I know he was giving her the onion, and that's
Well,
okay. That's what it's for.
But he's getting excited. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the truck, and it's like he's like now he's learning it a little bit, and he's getting the corner. He's like, I got this one, and I think he popped it in the corner, and then it let go. Where
Oh,
when
he
it
said
downshifted.
the 2-to-1 downshift. He said that. He said it was.
Oh, that's
bad.
when it let go.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
I think he went into the corner real hard and it loaded up,
Oh, you
and then
did.
Yeah,
it got
sure.
it fatigued it.
He was saying he wanted a little more, and he
Oh.
dropped it into gear, and he found permanent neutral.
Yeah.
I think that was a direct quote, and it was like, copy that.
Elliot goes in there and tattoos the drive shaft.
Yeah, we got a sticker on there. I mean, that's
Got it. That's a must.
I mean, it's so bad line. It's a drive line. Get it? That's
Yeah.
funny.
Drivelines, good times.
Hello?
hey,
I mean, we got it back. It's fine.
It was fun.
It's probably not. That sticker's probably not going to stay there,
No,
unfortunately.
he said it was. He was like,
well,
that's,
once they balance and
no.
do
was
everything
that
to the
gonna-
drive shaft.
was that going to ruin the balance?
Well,
No,
Send-
they're the drive shop. You know, they like to go heavy on that black paint. They're gonna while it's spinning on the
That's
lathe.
fine.
They're gonna.
But then we'll
Coat
put
it
a
up.
new one and we'll stripe it
No,
like the barber shop,
there you
you
go.
know?
Do they just they spray them?
Oh,
or they
everything.
dip 'em?
The U
Every time.
joints, the whole deal,
Yeah.
dude. They're just like they got a guy with
They coat
like
it
4
on
cans
thick.
of paint at
Yeah.
a time. He's just just going across.
you ever notice the drips on your
Oh,
drive shaft
yeah.
whenever
Oh,
you
yeah.
pick
It's
it
all
up?
wet.
I
Like,
just figured they dipped them.
They
because
just
there's
grab
so
it with their
much depth.
hands, just freaking fingerprints. You're like that guy got that guy's fingerprints now. You know, in case he does like a murder or something. You know.
Mhm.
I will say it's nice to have a friend group like we do, where we can kind of all, and I probably maybe rely on my friend groups a little more than everyone else, but hey, just take my truck. You got this, go
Yeah.
do that. Everyone just jumps. Like, they're like, hey, we're going to, without even asking, we're going to take Stevie Boy's truck and trailer,
That he just got.
which is fine.
like,
but it was
last
just
week.
like, I'm like, yeah, of course, you need it, take it. Like, and
100%.
Yeah.
because I've been around people that are just not like, no, you're not using my stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's just like, then
We've-
why am I
we've-
here with you?
We've all
Like,
exactly. We've
yeah.
all been around those people, but those people aren't here.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I
think
mean?
at this
And
point-
how big is our camp now? Which is freaking awesome.
this is awesome.
Yeah,
10 year
got it.
10-year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving trip,
Yeah.
for DMC, Badlands Good Times, and gosh, what we have 20 campers out here plus, 50 people
Yeah.
plus.
We filled up
it's like-
Domingos. If anyone's been to Boron, which is a
Small town.
brilliant town, I love it.
Small.
There's a restaurant, and they have a legit Mexican restaurant. It's like one of the better restaurants I've ever been to. Honestly, it's like
100%.
it's
you
good.
get a margarita. It's yay big. Every appetizer I tasted when I walked around all the tables was tasting other people's
Just
food.
chatting it
You
up.
made
just
that
kinda
restaurant's day that day.
Occasionally grabbing somebody else's food.
Yeah, that's fine. But it like we filled that entire restaurant with just our camp, which I thought was pretty epic.
That's
Like
pretty cool.
because I showed up late because my family was coming in kind of late, and me and Chris came out separate on our own little off-road mission, and walked in. And it's like some of the people weren't even in the restaurant, but we filled up the entire restaurant with our crew.
Yeah.
Which back in the day, like we had some people go camping with us, but like
Well, it's just evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, it evolved from sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
And you had a tent cot.
Tent
You were
cots,
boned.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
sure.
damn. Ellie got that tent cot. I'm scraping the rocks to, find a good flat spot to, put my tent up. And then, now everybody's got, some sort of a sleeping apparatus, whether it be a slide-in camper.
but it keeps growing because like the type of people that we're with.
That's right.
Like we're all good people, and now everyone's gonna tell their friends, and they're like, you gotta come out to this trip. Like it was just us walking around. We got sausages from the meat man, thank you Caleb, and he I went home with 2 packets of sausages, like 40 brats from the cleanup that we just did. And it's like, it's like cook the sausages up, like whether or not anyone's gonna eat them or not, like everyone ate them.
Yeah.
Like,
They're all gone.
just walking around, it's like here's free food.
Yeah, here, eat this.
Like,
Yeah.
versus I've been around people where it's like no, we're cooking our own meal.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're just like,
Yeah.
what are you cooking?
And it's just kind of a buzzkill a little bit. It has nothing to do with you or whatever. You're just like, oh, okay, that's, not like that's how it's going to be, but like, oh, that's how it is. Oh, okay, well, that's fine.
I just like how communal our friend group
It's got to be
is.
that way.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I took a poop in this trailer this morning. Thanks,
There you go.
Scott.
Oh,
was a
well,
great
thanks for
poop.
the information. Yeah.
He's like, that's
It was a
new.
great poop, honestly.
That's new to me.
No wonder it smelled in there. Geez.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Oh, I told him it was being good too. So
Oh, it's go wonderful. Just communal.
Yeah.
That's why I drive it out.
and guess who's gonna clean that up? Cheers, bud.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I didn't poop in here yet, but you never know. You know.
Never, it's a great spot. It's good. But I don't know, again, I feel very thankful to have this type of group.
Oh, yeah.
My family who doesn't do, I've talked about this the last time, like doesn't do this is like, this is a good group of people. And they have like zero interest in this space, like right now. Like,
No, totally. It's like you said, you're the fact that you can buy a truck and trust your friends to take it, and it's like that's anyone in this camp, obviously the ones that we just met maybe not so much, but like for the most part all of our core group of friends, you're like, yeah dude, whatever you need, like I trust you with my life type of thing. Which is kind of weird to say with somebody you met on the internet, but after a decade and a half, it's like
There's a little bit of
Here's where
trust
we're
there,
at.
right?
Yeah, but again, going back to what you just said, it's like you might not trust everybody here, but somebody probably on this table knows who that person is, and they could be like, no, that person's cool. And you'd be like, oh well, Elliot vouched for him, Steve vouched for him, cool. Like, have him bring the truck over, whatever. You know?
Totally. And it's like you're saying, obviously this being a Thanksgiving podcast, it's like just looking at the group of friends that we've created over the last 15 years or so. It's like I'm just so thankful that I've got you guys, and I'm not going to get teary-eyed or anything.
I am.
But
I'm
seriously,
emotional
like
these days.
it's freaking rad that I a couple years ago I moved my office. Literally, it was like, dude, 2 days, like it was the day of, I was like, hey, I need some help. Like I'm not a guy that really asks for help for much, but Mikey's like, I'm there, dude. But I wouldn't have asked if I didn't actually need the help. And then, you move a couple years later, and it's like same thing. Like you don't ask, and I'm like, yeah, of course. Like,
I think I didn't even ask you to help. I was like, yeah, we're moving, and he just showed up. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Or Scott down here is like, yo, bro, I need to get the Forerunner, and we'll have a whole nother seminar about that saga.
Forerunner
But
does
that was fun.
But so like we've got it's like whenever, somebody needs something, or whenever, somebody's going to go on a sketchy mission for a new vehicle, or, whatever part, it's like, where are we going? Like Jesse, I don't even know, you're Jesse Hofer. I don't even really know him well. I met him a couple times at your shop, but it's like something about, I don't know if it's just being an off-road person, but you have like, this person needs, somebody down there needs help. Like, we need to go on a recovery mission. You're like, I'm in. Like, no questions asked. I don't even need to know them. I just want to help.
Again, can I say, because one of us vouch for him? What do we got to do?
Yeah. I've been on 2 trips with Jesse. He's used my trailer once and my truck once. He's turning into me, bud.
No, hey, somebody's got to, pass. You got to pass on that torch sooner or later. You don't want to be that guy.
A bunch of Ford guys.
We're gonna have to get the Superman outfit out again, or what?
I still got it. I don't get rid of things like that, But no, I do.
Well, wait, truly. But hold on, you're talking, smack? Is that, I don't really use that term, but you're talking smack about Jesse. What about your tailgate and your cooler that you ejected today? You want to let the folks know? I don't even know if Mikey knows about that.
We thought you were picking up trash.
I'm sorry, hold on.
I was picking up trash.
How could I not know he's currently draining my cooler right now?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any beers.
Yeah.
And he just took my beer. I had 2 beers here. He just took my beer. Again, this is this is normal stuff.
Yeah. Just not even something. Yeah.
Can I keep this
koozie? So
self-conscious about it.
Real talk. What happened? Like, how did do you strap the cooler down back there, or is it just pinched?
Clearly, he does not.
I normally yes. Today, no.
So what happened?
I did strap it down. And the tailgate ejected, and the cooler left the chat.
When you got out of the truck, were you like, I fucked up?
No, I was like, oh.
Apparently, he did it within eye shot of the camp too.
Yeah, no, I
it's not the first time the tailgate's ejected. So here, let me
explain the levels.
Let me chat.
Hold on, let me explain the levels of embarrassment for Steven.
I'm not embarrassed.
It's one thing to eject your cooler in the middle of nowhere. We've all done it. We've all ejected stuff. It's another thing to be getting sick with it right near camp and then throwing your tailgate and cooler everywhere.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, tell that to the Busch Lights you lost. It's not fine.
No, the Busch Lights held up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Busch Coors Lights, not nearly as good as Busch Lights. Caleb, you've got something going on here. I understand now. So they'll hold up better in a bouncy ice chest, whether the ice chest stays in the truck or not. So.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your Arctic took one off the lips.
So yesterday, like right before this trip, I put new bushings and everything in the tailgate. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe it was just loose, and that was the problem. So I put the tailgate on, and like I drove it all day yesterday. Went to Boron and back. There was no ice chest in the back, but I drove it there and back. 0 issues.
Wait, hold on. Before you even finish the story, so before this trip, you prepped your tailgate.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you changed that wheel bearing that we almost lost, or the alignment cam?
Yeah, King of the Hammers or whatever last year.
It's fine.
So
that was a forever fix, Elliot.
So
but in my tool bag that I left in the diesel,
Thanksgiving
I have another
last year. Hold on, Thanksgiving last year, I'm driving his truck to meet with Elliot. We're gonna do some mountain biking, and I have to pull over halfway there and find a rock and knock the pin that holds the passenger front brake caliper. You warned me. He's like, hey, that pin's falling off. I didn't fix it. I saw it with my eyes. Didn't do anything about it.
On the
you might need to.
They have a sliding pin. It's a floating caliper. And if the bushings get worn a little bit, they walk down. And I was like, hey, Mikey, that pin's probably a little loose. How loose was it?
It was like
falling out
10% in there. It was barely in there. I was like, holy shit, I'm glad I stopped and knocked this pin in, because I would have.
Because he was smashing whoops with his bike.
This is after that, though, because I knew the truck was good. It took me there. I knocked the pin back in.
You don't need brakes on the dirt. I mean, it's fine. I
ended up blowing my truck up later that day anyway. What does it matter?
That's just so you know.
We're gonna pause real quick. There's something happening here. 1 second.
Pause for station identification break.
Watch out.
You want to pause her? I'm pausing her.
You got any more beers over there? You stole my.
Yes. Oh, nice. Can crusher, bud.
We were talking about you exploding coolers.
That's fine. We did that. We exploded some coolers.
Everybody's done that.
Everyone's recording.
Do you have the record on again?
I have record on.
Okay. You're back?
I'm 90% sure we're back. We're good.
90%.
Okay.
We're 90%.
Okay.
I see one red light. So.
Okay. Copy. All right. So we were talking about your shit box and your pin.
Thanks.
But But yeah, so we're out here for Thanksgiving, and we battled the elements. It's been colder than a witch's tit.
It's another cold
It's
one.
a technical
I'm at a
term.
10. I'm back
But
at it.
beautiful. Cold but beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going back in the old school game. So
we-
10's not that bad.
Yeah. So we had. Oh, was somebody putting their butt cheeks on the window?
Somebody's
That's
giving
cool.
us a little,
That's fine. I'm good with
A
that.
little squeegee.
So, yeah, the Thanksgiving Day. So my wife takes huge pride in setting up the whole wish.com tent that we've got. That's like I think is it a 30 by 10?
Yeah.
Thing's freaking
Would you
massive.
call it the ambiance?
Yeah, no, it's a total vibe. It's a vibe. I don't, I'm
With
not.
the decorations
Yeah.
and the lighting.
You're not a vibe guy.
and,
No, I'm not a vibe guy, but like it really,
brings it together.
I'm super grateful for Bruce's family, Pat, his dad, letting us use their trailer and their RV, and of course the wind died down like right as we were about to eat, so like we might have been able to set up that wish.com tent.
It was like Mach 40 all day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like we had to prepare for it,
Totally. And so, but we had the Thanksgiving dinner. We had probably 5-6 different turkeys.
Oh, yeah.
The spread.
It was a 25-foot enclosed trailer. Is that how long it is?
Yeah.
Full of food.
Yeah, table
multiple
going
different
all the way around.
corns, multiple
Yeah.
different deviled eggs, multiple different hams, turkeys. It was multiple of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to make this about me, but so I'm in line, like I'm like the 5th person in line with my son Connor, 7-year-old. I'm like helping him get his plate of food. I've got a Miller Lite, and it was, of course, I just cracked it because I'm special. And I'm like, oh, let me just put this in my hoodie pocket. And so I just install it, and it's chilling there, like everything's fine. And so I go to reach for the beans and realize, I didn't even realize, I just feel like dripping like moments later on my feet. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I thought he handed me his Gatorade. That was like one of those tiny Gatorades. And I was like, oh shit, the lid's off. And I'm like, no, that's still good in my pocket. And then I was like, oh no, my beer. The whole beer, like a full Miller Lite in my freaking sweatshirt pocket. And everyone, like, I kind of like waddled out of the trailer like I was, peeing basically, and I'm just standing there, and I like grab my sweatshirt and wring it out, and there's like a full line. There's like what 50, 60 people here.
50, 60 people.
There's a whole line of people, and they're just like,
you, they're like,
I thought he was peeing, and I'm like, no, it's just beer, But anyway, so Thanksgiving was rad.
Yeah.
Super grateful for all that.
The spread, man.
Yeah. What was your favorite? What was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing was probably I had some turkey, and it was just I don't know who made it.
That was probably mine.
Again, 7 turkeys, smoked turkey, so it could have been yours.
Yeah.
Yours or
Was it option
Well,
one?
we had a grilled
But
turkey.
I didn't even get my own plate. I was
Oh,
watching
yeah.
the kids. I was watching my son and Prudence trying to be, good dad, and like I'll watch the kids, everybody eat, and then somebody come switch with me.
Yeah.
So then by the time my wife came back with her plate of food, her friend Nicole, thankfully, was able to just make me a full spread, but I had no idea what I was eating.
Yeah.
When I will say that, it's the slight difference where we're at in our current life state right now is we all had very young children with
Mhm.
us. And so I went and got the plate, and I'm like, I can't put any gravy on this plate. I can't put anything I want on this plate. I'm like, oh, she'll eat plain corn. Okay, she'll eat maybe turkey.
Yeah.
She'll eat maybe mashed potatoes.
Right.
And I'm like looking at this plate. I'm like, I want to add just gravy to the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
Everything up.
I'll come back. Hopefully it's there still. Like,
Yeah. Good stuff. And then so night 2, so Friday night, we do the chili cook-off,
Oh yeah.
which is like legendary.
Yeah.
Every year,
Yeah.
like this year we had what,
Oh.
six
Six
chilies,
6 chilies.
and it's
there was
always
going to be 7. There was an issue.
yeah.
Yeah, we won't get
We
into
had
that
6.
film.
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah. Well, no, let's just get into it. What happened? A shitbox broke down or what?
One of my shitboxes broke down,
Oh, what a surprise.
but I have backup of everything. I have 2 diesels. I have 2 Rangers.
Oh.
I have
It's not a big deal.
1
Wow.
Bronco.
Well, bro,
I need a second Bronco actually.
Yeah, we gotta get you one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be buying one of those soon.
you know I'm one in the scrapyard.
Two-
I have 2 campers.
He's got 2 kids.
Yeah,
You got them all.
Do I
You
have a
know,
second
whoever.
kid? But I had a truck and I had my camper set up. On my way out on Wednesday, my diesel stopped charging. That I call it the diesel, but the F-350 stopped charging, and I had to pull over on the side of the road. And I spent 4 hours on the side of the road trying to fix the thing. Got it back home, tried to fix it the next morning at like 4 a.m. because I fell asleep putting my daughter down, so I didn't fix it that night. Standard.
Yeah.
And
that sounds about right.
well, I'm an old man.
We're all in the same boat here. Dude. Don't
So,
even, yeah.
long story is last minute, about 5 a.m., I started packing up the new truck that I just bought. By the way, the F-350 was supposed to be its last trip ever.
And you
And it
told-
knew
and you
it.
probably told it that. And
You're
that's
like-
why the truck didn't make it.
You're like,
Said nope.
Chuck was pissed. Got replaced.
I got
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
So, anyways, long story short, I came out here with missing half the ingredients to chili. So I had no.
you should have just sent it. Ooh, okay, Derek, he was a late entry. Wasn't a so the chili cook-off's like 6 chilies. Every what would you call them? Taste tester
Yeah.
gets 6 toothpicks,
Yes, keep going.
and then you good.
Just keep going.
Everyone gets 6 toothpicks, and then you vote on which is your favorite chili. Your sister takes the cake again.
Dude, everyone says she keeps taking the cake. She hasn't won for like 3 years.
Oh, really? Who won last year?
She got second. The year before she got third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or vice versa. But she hasn't won for a
For
couple
Christine, man, she's
Christine has
she's
been second place,
shooting
like,
for that
boom,
gold.
boom, boom.
I mean, she wants the number 1
Yeah.
spot, and it's just
year. Yeah.
every year
She made
bridesmaid,
bloody
man.
Bloody Mary mix in the chili.
Hmm.
That was like that was a little bit of a like, let's check this out. You know?
I think
I liked it, but I wasn't sure if I liked it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you're trying it, and you're like, this
Yeah.
tastes like something I've had before.
Christine's.
Yeah.
I thought it was too sweet, personally.
Right, well,
Well,
that's
that's
the Bloody
probably
Mary
Bloody
mix made
Yeah.
it too sweet.
And then I didn't like in Jesse's. I didn't like the hominy. I like hominy is fine, but it just has like a weird.
Well, I just
those
don't buy.
little-
What are you doing with these beans?
yeah, they're just kind of off. My wife made the chili. I think what I was gonna say is, so we like Christine was saying that she made a bunch of chilies like leading up to it.
Yeah.
I kind of like just sending a random recipe. I mean, I guess that's not how you win a contest,
Just wing it. Go for
but
it.
just see how it goes.
Well, it probably helps if your person,
Yeah.
and for your case, your spouse,
Yeah.
they make chili kind of somewhat often.
Yeah, which we don't.
Right, exactly. So that's why you're kind of like, all right, well, we got to maybe prep for this a
Yeah.
little bit, But
Well, I
whatever.
had I watch YouTube a lot, and so I had a recipe last year. I thought it was like it had a very unique, like I feel like a
It wasn't a cheese sauce, was it?
no that was I
Did you
really
make soup?
the other one I liked a lot. The cheese one I liked a lot.
Me too, but it's not chili.
I-
It's
Mikey-
the best
Mikey-
one ever in.
This guy.
First year we ever had the chili cook off, Mikey. I was like, hey, Mikey needs to be the judge because this is how he talks because he's authentic.
Yeah, I was a little
He is
disappointed
straight
this
up,
year
dude.
with all the beans.
So what's okay? So
Everything
what's wrong
has
with
beans
beans?
in it.
What's wrong with beans and chili?
There's nothing wrong with it, but
Yeah.
but beans.
You need to have the
When you
proper
when
mix,
you
though.
when you look up what chili is, chili doesn't have beans. When beans
Oh.
are in chili, it says
Dude,
chili
Somebody.
with beans. Right? That's how chili works. If you
By
want beans in it,
definition.
it's
Dude.
going to have a 3-worded title of chili with beans. So when you have chili, which is chili, not chili with beans cook off, it's chili cook off. I just want to eat chili.
Oh,
I don't mind the beans,
he's a freaking
but I'm like, well,
free holy
all these
hater.
beans,
I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know. I think
No, people-
chili.
I think chili
deserves
always
beans.
comes with at least.
I think chili.
I feel like
deserves beans.
kidney beans are chili. I feel like
yeah.
that's the only
Dude, every
difference.
time I see you, I'm just gonna bring you a different kind of bean in a can, and I'm just gonna be like, "This is an offering," because you're such a bean hater.
I don't mind beans,
Yeah,
but
big
I
bean
just-
guy.
chili shouldn't have beans in it unless you say it's. gonna
I
have
hope
beans in it.
I hope
That's all.
someone that watches like the 3 people that are gonna watch this. I hope someone in the comments like copy and paste Wikipedia and is like, "Hey, you're wrong."
Maybe I'm
In
wrong.
1903, beans were initiated into what was considered chili,
I
and
bet
it
you-
made chili a national favorite.
Jesse made a good point. Azarva made a good point the other day. He said, "I think that beans were added to chili during the Great Depression because prior to that, there wasn't beans in chili."
So
We're
on,
getting in the weeds here.
on that point. Yeah, we are on that point though. Like
Well, you
like
were alive
cowboy
back
chili. Yeah. Let's take it back a little bit to when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Yeah. Cowboy chili.
You were there.
Cowboy chili was strictly just let's just call it sauce for lack of a better definition, right? And meat. That's really that's the heart of chili right there. Technically.
And are you a history major? Isn't that what you majored
No,
in?
he just lived that
You are,
long
weren't
ago.
you? Yeah, so that's why he knows that, because he went to school for that.
But
So
what getting
The
back to
wisdom.
the point, we had the chili cook-off. Renee won for I don't believe it.
She hasn't won the list. Yeah, I mean, she's okay. So
He's-
10 years.
he's
so
upset.
10
I'm
year
upset.
anniversary, right?
Why are you upset?
Because I didn't get to participate, and I had a really good chili.
oh,
I had a plan.
yeah.
It was going to happen. I had this year was in the bag.
Oh, so you
Wait,
were
so
like,
what was the point spread, by the way? Actually,
It was
Do we know
all
what the point spread
Renee.
was?
I don't know.
No, I asked
don't know.
Renee this
Really?
morning, and she was like there was no competition. It was like dramatically Renee, and then everyone else.
Yeah,
Your sister's chili was pretty.
it was
bad.
pretty good.
Actually, okay. So
It
to
is- but
give,
maybe
to
pork
give a
chili.
little
Should it
bit
be
more
beef or
credit
pork?
to my brother-in-law Adam, he actually contributed a lot more this year to the chili than he has in previous years. Normally, he's just like helping, assisting, right? But he actually added, a big part of it was the what was it, the smoked brisket
did
or
the-
smoked butt,
No, it's
butt or
pork.
something?
He did pork.
Yeah, and that was like his big contribution, and I really think that made it.
So I'm wondering, should we narrow it down? You can use certain kind of meats.
No.
No, I think the best part about it is
I'm
there's
just-
no
throwing it out
rules.
there.
Like
Whoa.
you could roll in, like I was gonna say, Derek literally cracked a can of Cornell and sent it. Like
Right, and I have to say,
it was
wasn't that bad.
pretty good. I mean,
Then you're like, well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's probably the number one selling chili in the world.
yeah. Are you good? Yeah, okay. He's good. Maybe. But yeah. So and then, anyways, we did the more technical difficulties. All right. So
Learning curve.
anyways, we've got the chili cook-off was good. We'll leave it at that. Sorry for cackling on about it, but it was a highlight. And we had the event tent set up. We had the whole
We're back to
Vibe.
Got the vibe.
right?
it was a total vibe.
Okay.
And so then today we did a pretty epic run to the Cal City abandoned hotel.
Yeah.
That was
Lake
kind of
Shore Hotel.
Lake
What is
Shore.
that? Lake
Yeah.
Shore?
which
Lake
was
Shore, yeah.
was kind of underwhelming if I'm being
100%,
honest.
100%.
But the
It was
trails,
somewhere. It was
Yeah.
somewhere to go.
Yeah.
the trails to and from. I mean, God, I feel like every time we've come to Cal City, it's always been like we're blasting through because we're on like a DMC trip. or something,
Absolutely.
right? And this is the first time where we've actually spent multiple days in this area. And all I got to say is, other than the traffic, holiday weekend, of course, right? Other than the traffic, it's like the trails around here are pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Sure.
they're fun. They're tight and twisty.
Way,
There's whoops.
yeah,
Well,
they're fun.
And I mean the amount of traffic, like as far as in Cal City, isn't where we've seen today. Isn't really bad.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just so sketchy because even if like I'm
All the road crossings.
I'm scanning the road
Yeah.
constantly because I'm waiting for a biker. And I don't even see them when I'm looking for them. You don't see the dust because I feel like the bushes are like, head high, and you just can't see.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the roads are all cut.
Yeah,
into
it's all the house pads that they have.
Yeah.
That we're gonna build here. Obviously, it's gonna be. This is supposed to be the next LA.
Yeah.
California City is gonna be the place to be. And
Mhm.
It's a good name.
obviously, it didn't work out.
Sure.
They never expanded this far out, but all the roads are cut,
Sure,
which means all the house pads are there, which means everything's overhead and you can't see anything.
sure. But it's just kind of a no wonder. You hear a lot of accidents happen with, whether it be UTV, dirt
Yeah.
bike, etc. And, especially in the pre-runners because you're going at such a fast speed. And then, I mean, I'm not a dirt bike guy, but I rode a dirt bike a little bit this weekend. And it's like, you're really focused on what's directly in front of you just for self-preservation. Like you're not
And
scanning.
it's hard, like you're saying, with a dirt bike. Say it's a family of 5, and 2 of the kids are on little 50s or 80s, and they're cruising around. They're not making that much dust. 'Cause they're
Mm.
not ripping.
Yeah,
They're just kind
sure,
of cruising,
sure.
and they don't see the road coming up, and they kind of just blast through it. It's like you're kind of doing the same thing. It's like, who's got the right of way on a T section? Like nobody, because there's no
Yeah.
stop signs. Like
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's-
once you're
yeah.
getting off the graded roads around here, the trail, like on the trails, it gets a little more
Yeah,
comfortable.
for
You can
sure.
settle in a little bit.
You
more.
got to be careful, man. Those four-way stops come out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're
And
just going along, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, there's a road coming up, like fast," So
and you never know where anyone's going to be at. It usually is probably in the middle of nowhere. Would be the worst
Sure.
part, because now you're comfortable because you've been doing it for a while. Like,
Yeah.
and then, like on the way to Boron, there was a bunch of crossroads. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming
Right.
up. Like
yeah, and they're like some of them are so small. It's just a one single track that's just cut across. And some of the The whoops going through there are a little spicy,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there's a couple like ravines that we traversed over. It's like if you didn't check up, that could have been a day ender,
Oh, for sure.
you know, with 33s at least.
Yeah, no. After Jesse's breakage, we went back a fun way, and we hit a couple of those where they come in so quick, you're just hard on the brakes,
Throttle it out.
dip into it, and then you have to throttle out of it so you don't kind of buck afterward. It was fun, but
Yeah,
kind of dangerous for
Yeah.
sure, you know.
definitely.
So
But-
Elliot, you still got something on the smoker right now, right?
Yeah. I got a pork shoulder that's I think it's at like 140 right now.
So you're on basically day 3 of cooking.
Yeah,
So pork shoulder night. Gonna
Yeah.
rip it up, make some.
you do some like pulled pork or something with it. I don't know. We've got like a bunch of hot dog buns if people want those carbohydrates.
Well, of course, but I would say this weekend's it's a big cooking weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But like
Oh,
every
That's-
night, it's kind of a different regime of cooking.
But
Sure.
emphasis on the cooking for sure, because the family's here, all the families here, and it's like you want people to want to come back out here again. Like, let's say, you know, we're all into going fast off road. Obviously, that's why we're here. But it's like some of our family members aren't that into it, so
Sure.
you can appease them by, you know, kind of whining and dining them, so to speak. It's fun, you know.
Absolutely.
And what I've always loved about this, and again, I'm not a football fan. I'm not anything else like that. Like I don't need my regular house life for anything. Like this is what I want to do. But I love when I come out here. One, the reception sucks on your phone, which is great. So
Oh,
no one's on their
nice.
phones. No one's sitting around watching TV. I've been, to relatives' house and everyone's just sitting around watching a football game. Like no one's talking. They're all together, but no one's communicating.
Mhm.
They're just kind of like watching someone else's curated stuff. It's like the kids are playing. Elliot brought the bounce house out, which
Yeah.
is awesome. Like the kids are playing on the bounce house. Oh, we're doing the car thing. There's like dirt bikes. Hey, let me jump on the dirt bike and ride my kid around. Like,
Yeah.
it's like everyone's just communal space of everyone just kind of participating together.
It's about the family for the weekend.
Totally.
That's-
Totally. And like I had this like last night, just not to get, kind of lame again, but last night after the chili cook off, like I like walked back because Carlos had his light bar pointed straight up and it was kind of like the beam of light, kind of the bat signal. But it's just like seeing, and also Clean Desert Adam brought the
huge screen,
huge movie
30
screen.
foot.
So we've got, what was it? Dust to Glory.
That's the war.
But it was like the
The
second one.
I think, yeah.
But so we have that playing on, I don't know how big that screen was.
30 feet.
Yeah, the screen's massive. So we've got that going. We've got the lights pointed straight up in the air. We've got the little, 30 by 10, whatever, easy up thing set up. And it's just like 30, 40 trailers and everyone's having a great time with a campfire. It's like, for me being the originator of the email to start this trip, it's just kind of like, hell yeah, like this is rad, dude.
For sure.
To bring everyone together. And that's, a big thing of what, Wally and I are trying to do with the Bad Lines Good Times thing. It's like, this is obviously our close knit group of friends. So that's kind of already been happening, but we're kind of trying to do this with more to branch out and, let other people know that, hey, you guys should do this too.
Oh,
Bring your people
Yeah.
together, have these cool experiences. And it doesn't need to be in a Wazoo pre-runner. It doesn't need to be it can be in a stock truck. It
Completely stopped.
can be in a pop-up camper, a freaking ground $30 Walmart
That's how we
tent.
all started.
Doesn't matter.
Show up,
Yep.
have a good attitude,
Yeah.
have fun.
Dude.
Yeah.
And to reiterate on what Steve was saying a second ago, it's like, you can go have Thanksgiving with your family at somebody's house, but
3 hours.
the kind of interactions that people and the kids have here together, that's genuine
They'll
interactions.
remember
Totally.
that for the rest of their life.
There's no screens. There's none of that stuff. I mean, obviously we're talking about the giant screen, but I mean, it's just this is real person to person connection stuff that you can, you can't get anywhere else. I mean,
Totally.
you can, but it's hard.
It's
hard.
difficult to be in a situation where you're like, just this is the only activity, and that's how it used to be before all of the electronics and all the BS that goes on. Obviously, we're using a lot of electronics sitting here, but like it to me, it's just so important to have like that just genuine person on person time
Mhm.
and just have real conversations with people with no interruptions.
Totally.
I mean, it's a full moon night. Like it's beautiful out. Like you wake up in the morning, you wake up to the sunrise. It's really rare that a lot of people get to live like this.
Totally.
And we're only doing it for such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Jesse's doing it every day, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
but like for most of us, it's a special thing in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
And I look at like my family, they're not into the whole camping thing, and it's like, not that they think differently because I am, it's just not their thing, which is totally fine. But it's like having, like, we choose to do this, like we're selecting to come out. It's 29 degrees, in the morning, it's cold. Thanksgiving, we battled the elements and it was super windy, and yeah, it was a little bit less than desirable, but the fact that like, the 50, 60 people here, band together and like, hey, well, these are the things that we have that we can make this work, and let's just do it. It may be not ideal. And like my wife, I was explaining to her, like, she's bummed that we didn't get to set up the tent and the whole thing. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Like, well, yes, that's nice that we have that. It's about everyone kind of coming together and, being thankful for having that trailer or, the motorhome, whatever, to be in out of the elements, and even just all the food, even if we were out in the wind, like having all this food. I think that's kind of what the Thanksgiving thing's about. I don't know.
No, it is.
Anyways.
Totally.
For coming from me who had like the worst experience getting out here.
Yeah.
Like literally like the worst experience you could think of is leaving your house for 15 miles and then breaking down. And like I just spent 2 days packing and this is what I get.
Yeah.
And then showing up here and I'm eating my dinner with Prudence, like in Mikey's step-parents,
Parents-in-law.
parent, father-in-law or whatever, trailer. And it's like, and then everyone's helping. And it's like awesome.
Well, yeah,
like, I
when
wouldn't
found
trade
out
it for the world.
You broke down. I was like, I just called you and I was like, dude, I don't, just get in the other truck and come. You don't have to bring anything. Like, we'll house you. It's all good.
Yeah.
What it's all about. Like,
No,
doesn't
exactly.
matter. Doesn't matter.
And like that fact that I would say most people probably would have been like, fuck it, I'm just not going to go. I'm done.
Sure.
The weekend's ruined.
And
Sure.
been done.
And it's like, no, you got to push through that. Whatever, it doesn't, you have a little hiccup, you got to keep going.
Yeah, you show up.
And then look at the weekend. You had a great
It's
weekend.
great. It's
Your
awesome.
daughter had a great weekend. Like,
The best weekend.
So,
She had so much fun.
that's literally what it's about. But anyways, I don't know if you guys want to chat about anything else.
I'm thankful for all my buddies,
for
all
sure.
these people out here. Unfortunately, we only have 4 microphones. It'd be pretty awesome to have a bunch more, but like
It'd be such a shit show.
we'd be going on for 5 hours.
Yeah.
The cameras, I hope they're working good enough that we can actually make this happen. If not, it's just gonna be a bunch of pictures.
Yeah,
But,
whatever. It's all good.
Sure.
No,
Just a
I-
bunch of pictures of Scott and I's vehicles. It's all good. We don't
Yeah.
care.
Oh.
Sweet.
But
What,
I'm
me
seriously
telling you,
stoked.
or what?
I'm very stoked that we get to do this, and hopefully we could do this more often. Because, like I said, we learn something about each person
Yeah.
as we do this every time, and
Totally.
I think it's awesome. Like I
Totally.
really, and we never like we get to sit around the fire, and then someone kind of does a poke, and someone does this, and then someone else, hey, your wife comes over. Like it's just nice to sit down and talk with
Oh, 100%.
Hmm.
boys for like an hour or
Sure.
whoever.
Sure.
So
Well, cool. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in, and
Sure.
scope out the forum. We'll have a thread up on the forum with all the photos and some videos from our Thanksgiving trip if you want to scope it out. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.
Later.